Alright everyone, a surprise morning as the cats are actually not attacking each other, but are only a foot away from each other. So I've got two cats. Behold, the proof that you all need. They actually aren't the same living thing. I just wanted to say something here. Link in the description archived, of course, just a little ditty there. It's about optimism and pessimism among the American electorate for 2023. And I was thinking to myself, doesn't 2023 feel a lot like 2011? You had overall economic stagnation, overall prevailing sense of pessimism, more from certain aspects of society than others. If you're a Democratic partisan, you don't care because the presidency and the Senate are held by your party, so you feel good even if you're being screwed over backwards and robbed blind. Because a lot of people are stupid and have cognitive dissonance. There are plenty of Republicans who felt perfectly fine under George W., even in the wake of Katrina. He still managed to be in the upper 20s as far as his approval rating went. These are dumb people, just to be clear. Just saying, I hope in retrospect some of you realized your mistake with that one. Biden feels a lot like late first term Obama. Of course, the shine had worn off by then. Now, I'm not saying that I consider that Biden never had shine. That's actually his biggest disadvantage. But any semblance of sanity and coherence that we've seen from him, from especially maybe the first 6 months of his stewardship, that's long gone at this point. So you've got incompetent leadership, a general prevailing sense of, if not incoming doom, at least no particular optimism. It's like a dark age. We may not disappear apocalypse style, but, things have gotten notably worse than a few years ago. We're not really expecting them to get measurably better now, are we? This is the majority of the U.S. population thinking this way, and this is exactly why the bottom could drop out. You have no confidence. You have little confidence among business, among investors, and among the general public. This can begin to impact your economy on a significant scale. Nothing has been done by the Biden administration to address this. Gas prices came down. Of course, when they were going up, it was Putin's fault. So thank you to Russia for lowering the U.S. gas price. I'm sure you had something to do with it. It's part of their nefarious plan. The Russians are lowering the U.S. gas price marginally in order to get people not to buy EVs. I imagine that there are some leftoids out there who are crazy enough so that they would go with that Coke, by the way. It'd be very funny. I'm just noticing how much it's like time repeating itself. We had a repeat of the early 80s under Trump, things going well. Of course, the end with COVID, and less so. That was entirely self-inflicted, but we'll get past that because wink, wink, honk, honk, this is a YouTube video. Not even a fucking 100% sure what you're allowed to say about the topic. Or about politics sometime. Can you question the 22 election, or is it only one election we've ever had you're not allowed to question the results of? I don't know, which ones are you allowed to question? Am I allowed to claim that Bolsonaro may not have done as poorly as they conceive of him as doing, based on polling differentials? The world may never know. Unless you want to take one for the team, make that video, and potentially get banned off the fucking platform. It's a time of boredom. There's nothing exciting going on within politics that isn't coming from the fringe of politics, and that's suppressed brutally. It's sort of like, when you go back to the Obama era, then you get the Tea Party surge. Well, you may not agree with them. A lot of it was evangelo-moralism, Jesus as vice president sort of stuff, but at the very least it was a little bit exciting. And the Tea Party wasn't muzzled on the internet because the internet hadn't developed the means of mass censorship yet via AI, etc., which violates Section 230. But again, we'll have to get past some of our grievances double quick here. We'll end up with a 30 fucking minute video. And then I wouldn't be able to upload it to minds.com. Check out the link. It's like the optimism. It's like people have been blackpilled. Not like to the point of we're going to suffer a societal long-term collapse, but just like in the intermediate future, nobody really expects things to improve measurably. The problem is that things start out in the year, they're not very good. It's like, okay, we're not in a full-on declared recession, but we're probably going to enter at least another mild recession. We already had a foreshock recession last year, the Biden foreshock recession. Biden doesn't have the votes in the House, the wherewithal in the Senate, or the goddamn finesse and competence to design any way by which we can actually ameliorate the situation. I'll be reporting later on the southern border crisis. It's twice as bad as people suspected. They've got a preliminary tally of the number of people that came across illegally. Hint, hint, it's well over 2 million fucking people. U.S. border doesn't, for all intents and purposes, exist. Anyone capable of getting to Mexico or anywhere else that shares a land border or near seaport with the United States effectively can walk in. Just forget your passport. If they see that you're actually not from Honduras or something, they'll kick you back out. You're not allowed in. You have to be from one of those special privileged countries. You have Central American privilege. Under the U.S. immigration system, that seems to be a developing very real thing. Or you have to come over as a dissident from like Venezuela or something. At least they have a claim, they have a legit reason for asylum. So Biden's not going to solve that. There's no chance of him engaging in meaningful diplomacy in Russia or in North Korea, anywhere that matters. Oh yeah, when he goes over to France, he holds hands with Macron and gets led around like a little puppy by some staffers, and it looks very cute, and he drinks a wine, and then he grins at the camera with a shit-eating grin and rambles about how he loves French ice cream, but U.S. ice cream really is better. And thank you to all the Wisconsin farmers who are crazy enough to vote for me. Okay, you'll conduct diplomacy with nations that we could outright ignore and they would still be our friend. That's meaningful. That's really great. Meanwhile, taking a massive amount of vacation time, I'm sure it'll be even more in 2023 than it was before. Effectively, we have an absentee president. You have an absentee VP too. They keep Kamala Harris in the back room like some sort of joke, like that weird crippled relative that lives in your basement and will never leave and never see sunlight. And you tell them to stay in the basement when the guests are here, like a family secret from some some weird Victorian incest fantasy or something like that. That's what it's like. There's no form of leadership. There's no reason to be optimistic. If we break even for the year, it'll be a good thing. We've got stocks right now in a deep decline. Huge multi-years of gains were wiped out by Bidenomics already. That's probably not going to get better. Although I would like to say there's one silver lining. Because big tech is taking such a beating, it's opening up the field for competition. Now, a lot of this is astroturfed foreign companies like TikTok. It's making a potential way forward for major gains by the new tech sites, by BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, etc. If there's one, here's a white pill for you. Since I'm talking about things that are semi-black pill, they're gray pilled or something. Although I think that involves occult enlightenment. There's a lot of pill colors, just to be clear. We need the puce pill, I guess. Here's your white pill of the day is actually on the tech side of things. I expect 2023 to actually be better. Twitter continues to move in a different direction. New tech probably continues to grow, possibly much more rapidly if the big tech sites keep having problems. That could be good. And the problem is, of course, U.S. individuals that love censorship and their sleazy business deals. Which would they prefer? Would they prefer to start doing business with a Chinese spyware firm, or would they choose to do business with a firm that actually has some degree of free speech appreciation? They'll load money into TikTok before the end. They'll do it through slush funds, by the way. So yeah, I do expect the year to generally be a dour one. It's going to be humorless and not very exciting. It'll be boring, just like Obama was boring towards the end of his first term. Again, the shine had worn off, and he only won re-election because his opponent refused to campaign for the last couple of months. Mitt Romney was nowhere to be found, and of course, you're voting between Obama and Romney. Why not just stick with Obama? They're going to do the same thing after all anyway. That's about all. Peace out.